Good morning, good morning. So I'm Vivian Joy of She Enjoys Business. And I'm on here on the live, and I tried to get live on my laptop, but it wasn't having any of it. So here I'm on my phone. So I'm hoping I can see your comments. If not, I'll come back and answer them afterwards. Danny's invited me here today to talk about stress and self-sabotage. And they go together really, because when we're stressed, we tend to self-sabotage. We tend to just put everything down and stop. So if you're watching me here today, I'm going to help you to understand what makes that happen, how you can stop it, and how you can achieve a different level of maybe success or even calm or peace for yourself. So hopefully you're going to find that this is useful. Also, after this, I'm going to drop a link with a free 7-day video program or 7-step video program called From Stress to Success. And hopefully, hi Sam, hopefully that will be very useful for you. So it's me on a video looking slightly better because I've got makeup on, and this is not a good angle, is it? Anyway, so basically it's 7 steps to helping you understand what's going on in your mind. So I'm a mindset coach. I help business women typically, although lots of other people, but typically business women, to get out of their own way and understand what's keeping them stuck wherever they are in life and business. Hi Danny, hi Rebecca. So my first question is, are you obsessed with being stressed? That's the first thing I want to ask you. Now, the reason I ask this is the stress reaction is the same as happiness in the body. It creates the same physical reactions, the same energy, the same endorphins, the same chemicals. So sometimes what happens is if we're a bit bored in life, and this might be some of your pattern, you'll mess things up a little bit and stress yourself out so that you actually get all the happiness hormones rather than going and finding a way of being happy. God, just look at my hair. Sorry, got a bit of stuff going on here. So yes, that's my first question to you. Do you like that feeling? Are you used to that feeling? Now, you might think you don't like it, but does your body like it? Some of us, you may even think to yourself that maybe that you work better under pressure. Do you hear yourself say that as a belief structure? I'm going to be talking about beliefs a lot, because your belief map creates everything in you. Your belief map creates the whole way that you behave, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you interact, the way you communicate internally and externally. So beliefs are like the little programs that are running in the back of your mind. So I'm going to help you understand a bit about that. If you are obsessed with that feeling, that high anxious feeling of I should be doing something, I've got to do something, that is how your body and your mind and your whole physiology is running on a continuous basis. So you may have heard fight, flight or freeze. So if you're in that, you've got all of those chemicals running in your body, you're in continuous flight. And if you get used to that, you might not even notice it's going on. So that's the first one I want you to check in. And the way you can know is, I want you to just take a massive deep breath and drop your shoulders. And if your shoulders really drop, then you know you were in this heightened state. And if they don't drop too much, then you were probably quite relaxed. So yeah, that's the way you can test. That's the way you can test and check whether you're running or whether you're just in a nice calm space. Because when we're in a nice calm space, everything works properly for us. All of our cells renew as they should do. We desquamate. We do everything that we should do when we're at rest, which is why sleep is really important. I'm sure you've had lots of people on here talking about those properties. In fact, Danny, I bought a load of doTERRA oils from Danny. I bought the startup kit, which have been really helping me with the diffuser to help me to relax my physiology as well as my mind, because it's really important that they do that. So I'm absolutely addicted to 3 of them. So have a chat with Danny if you know. I'm addicted to them. They're amazing. So there's just a little shout out for our lovely Danny. So what happens is, if you are obsessed with this stress, you'll know, because your self-talk will be things like, why shouldn't I done that? I haven't done that yet. What will happen if I don't do it? Oh, I've got so much to do. I'm so busy. And you will feel overwhelmed. And these are all the signs of you in self-sabotage, because of course we're only ever really in the true moment. That's all we're ever doing. So I want you to think about the ways that you react to this stress. What happens to you? It's a stress reaction. So some people eat, some people drink, some people just stop, which is where the self-sabotage come from. Some people will keep going because they don't want to stop, because they daren't stop. Hi Laura, hi Karen, hi Nikki. There's a few people coming in here. So my question to you is, how do you react to that stress? What do you continuously tell yourself? Because your self-talk is a really good indicator of what's going on in the back of your mind. Because if you're at rest, your mind is at rest. This is your self-talk. Nothing. Maybe, oh, this is nice. Or, oh, what should I do tomorrow? Or, I think I'll have a cup of tea. That's the kind of self-talk you'll have if you're at rest rather than stressed. But if you're stressed, which is obviously the precursor, if you've just joined us, to self-sabotage. You'll think, oh God, I can't possibly do it all today. Oh, I'll watch Netflix instead. Anybody got that going on? Or, oh my God, look at all the housework. I don't even know where to start. Anybody have that one? Oh my God, my business needs so much marketing. I don't know where to begin. Oh, I need to lose so much weight. I don't know where to start. That's my typical one. So this is where the overwhelm comes. And when we've got overwhelm, which comes from that stress reaction to your own thoughts, which come from your belief system that you should be doing loads of stuff, then you will start to self-sabotage. If you don't feel like you deserve the money that you earn, either in your job or your business, depending on what you do for a living, you will sabotage that too. So self-sabotage comes from the thought processes and the stress reaction to those thought processes. The best of it is, yes, you'll play piano instead. Yes. Oh, isn't there a song? She plays piano in the dark. I don't know who sang that. I'm sure you'll know, Karen. But yes, so many things to do. Yes, I know what I'll do. A really key one for a lot of people at the moment is, oh, I'll just go and walk the dog, or I'll just go for a walk. And of course, we're allowed now to walk as often as we want for as long as we want. So it's lovely. And that's escape. So that's flight. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in flight, you'll fly anywhere. You'll be wanting to go wherever you want to go. So the good news about all this is the really good news is quite a lot of the shit you're telling yourself. I hope I can swear in here, Danny, otherwise I'm going to get kicked off the group. But quite a lot of what you say to yourself isn't true. In fact, some of the powers that be, and I'm not going to quote loads of names, but say that 80% of what you tell yourself isn't even true. 80% of actually, what you tell yourself isn't true most of the time. 80% of what you tell yourself is the same. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Emma. Not true. Think about the self-bullying that you create in your own, thank you, had to look it up. Brenda Russell, thank you, showing my age. Sorry about that. Yes, they're not true. They're created from a whole set of beliefs that you created in your childhood and beyond. So all of your circumstances, experiences, any higher powers of authority in your life will create a belief about yourself. So I ran one for many, many years of I'm lazy. So anybody got that going on? Show me some love if you've got I'm lazy or I can't be bothered. All this comes from I'm lazy belief. It came from my mum. And what happened was my mum wasn't very good at letting me do stuff. So she was a bit OCD actually. And so consequently, when I tried to do anything, she'd like, oh, give it here, I'll do it. And of course, then that created in me that feeling of, well, I'm not going to bother trying. And then of course I created a belief of, oh, I'm lazy. So it created itself. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy from my mother. And it took me a long time to understand that I'm not lazy at all, actually. I work very often. I can work a 13, 14-hour day. Not keen on housework because, of course, I was never allowed to do it. So, I've got a whole load of beliefs that give me a whole load of self-talk that is not true. So, for example, I could be sitting just relaxing and then all of a sudden my brain comes in with, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Oh my God, you're so lazy. Why haven't you done that marketing campaign? Why haven't you launched that product, that program? Hi, Joe. Hi, Tracy. So there's a whole load of self-talk that comes from this belief. And then really I'm self-sabotaging in a different way because I could be just sitting watching the TV and enjoying it. Whereas actually I've sabotaged that enjoyment. So this isn't just self-sabotage of not getting stuff done. This is self-sabotage of actually relaxing. So what's happening is if you're running these programs, you're sabotaging all parts of your life. The joy, the success, love. Has anybody been in relationships that they've self-sabotaged where their belief system is, they're never going to stay with me. I'm not worthy of their love. Oh, their love is only temporary. I know what I'll do. I'll confront that and I'll make it so that they leave. So they've self-sabotaged. So this all comes from your belief system. And that's why I asked about stress, because what happens is that belief system triggers in the back and creates a stress reaction. And it's how you react to it. So no, I don't like housework. You were allowed to do it. No, I wasn't, honest. Do you know what? My mum didn't let me near the sink. And I love washing up, actually. I really, really enjoy it randomly. Haven't got a dishwasher. So I really, really like washing up. You'll only end up hurting them. Listen to this belief. So this is all self-sabotage. So the good news is, my darling, darling people of this lovely Facebook group, is that your self-sabotage is coming from yourself, hence why it's called self-sabotage. You're creating it. And the good news is when you're creating something, well, as easily as you decided to have it, you can decide to change it. And you can unhave it, if that's even a word. You can remove it. But you have to decide. And the way that you decide is understanding it. So this is what my time here is to help you with today. I've no idea how long I'm going to be on here because I'm on my phone because my laptop wouldn't live stream into here for some reason. It said I didn't have the right software, which is random. So I'm just going to keep going until it feels like a suitable time, unless Karen will probably tell me how long I've been on. But I'll stay here for as long as is needed. So The first thing I want you to think about is when you start to have some self-talk, which is the precursor to self-sabotage, I want you to understand where that self-talk came from. Now, a few of you in here, I know, and you've done lots of this sort of work. You can never do too much of this work, by the way. You can never hear me saying this stuff too much, because the more you get this for yourself, the more you can self-coach, which of course is my aim for you as a coach. So I want you to spot it. That's the first thing you have to do, is to catch it. Catch the self-talk. Because if you can start catching your self-talk, I've been on 10 minutes already, I've had to Karen, I could talk for England, as you know. So once you catch it, I want you to literally catch it in your hand, to look at it. So if you were to say, and I'm going to take Karen's, thank you very much for that, I'll only end up hurting them. So this is self-sabotage in relationships. I'll only end up hurting them. I want you to catch that and really look at it and really think about it and understand it. I want you to look at it. You can even write it down if you like, and start writing it down, and start writing down all of the things and feelings and thoughts and memories around it, so you can understand it. Because what we understand, we can change. And so once you start to write that down, I know Karen will probably be doing this now, I'll only end up hurting them. Where did it come from? Get really curious as to where this belief came from. Because actually, I'm sure there's lots of people in your life, Karen, that you haven't hurt. There's lots of people you love who you haven't hurt. And so actually what's happened is you've created a belief somewhere. You've decided it, or someone's implanted it for you very kindly. People that we respect the opinion and we value the opinion of come and plant these for us, and we take them as our own. That's how we learn. That's how we learn in the first place. So I want you to think about a crappy, shitty, horrible, disabling, disempowering belief that you run that creates the self-sabotage. So very often I coach women who have got visibility issues within their business. So they may be amazing at what they do. People think they're amazing, but actually they're not letting enough people know what they do. And there may be a few of you watching this. Limiting beliefs, indeed, Sam, yeah. Limiting, that whatever you want to call them, they're shit. We don't need them. And actually we did need them at some point. We created them to protect ourselves. So at some point, Karen created her only end up hurting them belief to protect herself in relationships, i.e., I'll only end up hurting them, therefore I don't need to go into another relationship because I'm protecting them. But what she really is doing is protecting herself from that feeling of hurting someone, because she obviously doesn't want that feeling. So all limiting beliefs, all beliefs, empowering and disempowering, whatever you want to call them, not good enough. Oh, that's the most common one, Rebecca. We can pin a lot of stuff on not good enough. They will have all been created with some good intention by your unconscious. So think about what that might have been at the time. It may have been, as I say, I don't know Karen's background with this, but it may have been that she genuinely couldn't stand the thought she'd hurt somebody and she didn't want to do that again. Sometimes comes from what people tell us, absolutely, especially if they've got what they call in NLP. I'm an NLP master and trainer, so that's kind of my background and what I use. One of my favourite toolkits, I've got lots and lots, but that's one of them. Hypnotherapy and all sorts of other coaching technology and toolkits. But it does come from what somebody that we call a higher power of authority will tell us. So if you think about in your childhood, it would have been teachers, peer groups, you know, the cool kids, the girl or boy you fancied. It could be your parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, siblings, peers, people within, I don't know, the church, you know, whatever, however you were brought up, there will have been people in your life that you looked up to. And when we look up to them, they can pass down beliefs to us very strongly that we think, oh, that must be right. You know, my mum thought X, Y, Z, and she absolutely knew everything because that's who I was learning from. Therefore, a lot of my belief system comes from my mum. That's why sometimes we hear ourselves say, oh my God, I open my mouth and my mother comes out, because I created a lot of it. What's that, Karen? Yeah, not showing my work anywhere near enough. No, so there'll be some beliefs running around that. So I want you to really get curious about where this belief came from, because it was created either by you, and it can be a spur of the moment thing, i.e. have you ever had a situation, I've got a really good example for you. When I was about 19, I've got naturally very thick curly hair. I'm in lockdown with my partner who's a hairdresser, which is very convenient for me. It's getting shorter and slicker, and in fact it's about to start changing colour. That's another story altogether because she's bored. Yes, when I was about 19, the reason you always see me with my hair straightened, so this is the belief that became that strong that I'm now 47, so you know, 30 odd years ago, however long ago it was, I created this belief. I was going out with a friend called Emma, ironically, and I'd got all ready, and my hair I had loads of curly hair, which some people loved, can I just say, but of course I ignored that. We ignore the loving bits. And I went to Emma's sister's house. Her name was Sarah. I know she's not in this group, so she won't be watching it. And her older sister was amazing. So bear in mind, I might have been younger than 19. I was very young anyway, and very impressionable, and just trying to work out who I was, who I was sexually, and who I was in the world. And so we arrived at Sarah's house, and Sarah was amazingly, she looked $1 million. You know, when someone looks incredible. Yeah, well, you probably might see it, Curly. There was a danger of it before my partner locked down with me. And so when we arrived, she was all dressed up to the nines. I'd done the best of how I could look. And she said to me, so are you going to do your hair here? Now, I know you've all gone, oh, I can hear you literally audibly gasp. And I just went, I didn't know what to do. Now, what happened is that created an emotion in me where I felt insecure and I felt really embarrassed and I felt not good enough. Somebody said that earlier, and I felt like I looked like shit. So that created a really powerful belief in me. And she had really straight hair with some nice curls. So if anybody normally sees my hair, that's normally how it is. No coincidence. So in my head, she looked amazing. She was better than me. She was older than me. And so consequently, my belief was from that moment forward, I needed to straighten my hair and I needed to put effort in with my hair. And anybody that knows me, I visit the hair salon every week and have done since then. So you can see how powerful when someone who is a higher power authority gives you their opinion. I mean, she doesn't know. She doesn't know to this day. She won't have remembered that. And she genuinely probably in her head thought that if she'd straightened her hair, it made an effort. So I later on found out that she had quite fine hair and had taken 2 hours to do that hair, whereas I'd stuck my hair in a diffuser upside down. So it's not about whether it's true or not, it's about what we believe at the time. So of course I've been able to shift that out of my head, and actually I do prefer my hair straight, but I will allow you to all see my hair curly at some point, you lucky, lucky people. So I want you to think about where that belief came from and why you created it, what the circumstances around that belief creation were. Because sometimes it's a bit like analysing something. You can start to understand whether it is indeed true, whether it was ever true back then and whether it's true now. Because I can tell you now, I've got a load of beliefs from when I was 14 that were true then that are absolutely not true age 47 under any circumstances. When I was 14, I believed I had to smoke to be the cool kid. Now I realise that smoking is the most disgusting thing on the planet. Sorry if you're a smoker. I am a bit judgy because I'm a reformed smoker of 18 years. So there's no way I would smoke on this earth. So when you hear about people who are getting out of their own way with self-sabotage, but they're having to put lots of effort in, it means they haven't gone back to the original creation, the inception point of the belief. It means they're trying to work around it. They're trying to change the effects of it. And we see that mostly in dieting. So, you know, when people are like, oh my God, I'm carrying 3 stone, I need to lose weight. No, it's actually, let's look at what created the beginning of the pattern of the eating that created the 3 stone gain. So we're not looking at the effect, we're looking at the cause and effect, which in coaching is what we're always looking for. So you can change the effect, and you can probably affect that change within yourself quite easily. So there's kind of 3 ways we can change our belief system. This is from my experience. All this stuff I'm talking about is just my perception of things, by the way. Other opinions are available, but I've been doing it a long time. So we can either go back to the inception point, work it out it was never bloody true in the first place. I've got so many stories about this, I could bore you to tears all day, hence why Karen's doing a time check. Thank you very much as always for being on the ball with me there. We can actually get out of our own way, which is more cognitive behaviour therapy. I don't know if Dan has had any speakers on that. Really powerful process, very much used for beliefs where you think you can't do something. For example, if I didn't believe I could jump out of a plane, it's like, let's put you in a plane and you jump out, and then you believe you can jump out of a plane. So we can actually change the belief by getting out of our way and doing it, actually doing it. If you don't believe you can do this as a live, thanks Karen, if you don't believe you can come on here and speak live for 30 minutes without any cues or prompts or notes, and actually you were made to be on here for 30 minutes without any cues, prompts, then you would actually go, well, I'm not able to now believe I can't do it because, well, I kind of just did it. And that's how you can start to change there. But what most people do is they don't go back and sort out whether it was true in fact. They don't get out of the way and do it. They sit in this middle ground of self-sabotage and this horrible feeling where they literally just sit and hate themselves for it. So, and they will, all their self-sabotage, mindset and talk comes from the fact they haven't sorted it out. So if there's something you're sabotaging yourself on, I appeal to you to go and find out why. Why? So it may be that you're sabotaging yourself in any area: money, relationships, love, health, business, career, finances, future, family, every area of life this will show up. And actually, if you've got it showing up in one area of your life, you might find it sits across the board of all of them. Karen knows where the relationship one came from and will no longer allow the root of it to happen. Good for you, Karen. So the first question you ask yourself is, was it true? Was it true even then? Because actually about my hair, was it true that my hair looked erect? No, because actually, if I look around that time frame, I had so many friends that were literally envious of my hair. And in fact, they still are. If you ever do see my hair curl, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. But I didn't think that, you see. So actually, if I looked for evidence to support the belief, I couldn't find any. It was just that girl's comment. It was just Sarah's comment that day. And it was probably based on what she was thinking. So it was never really true in the first place. Is it true now? No, actually. And in fact, when curls coming back in fashion, I would be naturally happy to have my hair like that if I wasn't watching. Sorry, hi Stephanie. If I wasn't already running that belief system. Now, I don't have to unpick that one. It's not causing any major trauma in my life, but there are some that will be causing real problems. And it is worth you taking the time, either for yourself. This is why I want to give you a coaching tip to just explore it. Get a piece of blank paper, literally write down the thing you say to yourself most. So Karen beautifully illustrated it that, there's no point in being in a relationship, she hurts them anyway. And try and work out when you decided it, how you decided it, who was around at the time, what was the purpose of it, what was the impact of it, what has been the impact of it from now, and start to get some of this self-actualization. You might hear people say this realization of, this is what I've created for myself from that just one tiny little seed that was planted. It's grown into a fucking massive orchard. Well, you can start unpicking it. You can start getting rid of it. And that is how you can change things for yourself without it being painful. There's no willpower needed. There's no, I've got to get up and do it. I have to be motivated. Motivation is temporary. I can create motivation in all of you to go and do this. But actually, dedication is what's is needed to unpick self-sabotage. You need to be dedicated to literally being obsessed with finding out what's keeping you stuck and unpicking it so that you're unpicked from the beginning. Because actually, what happens in the brain is a beautiful process called a gestalt. If you've got if there are any therapists here watching on replay or anything, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Gestalt was a therapist that discovered that if you unchain a belief right at the beginning, it's a bit like a game of Jenga, then actually you pull that away, i.e. you can't believe it anymore. It almost unravels a whole load. It just creates a chain reaction that unravels a whole load of crap in your head. And naturally, after a few weeks, months, depending on how powerful the belief was, it'll start to dissipate. It'll start to disappear. And you'll start to think, I don't do that anymore. Or, God, bloody hell, all of a sudden I've started to do Facebook Lives and I thought I never could do them. I just had this experience with a woman who I can speak because she put it publicly, Jenny, who did my Money Mindset Reset program. I have a 7-week intensive program. And she did it in January. And she literally a couple of days ago put out a video saying she can't believe she just hit her targets for a business. It's all joyful. She's not sabotaging herself anymore. And the reason being, and I think she probably didn't realise, it takes time for your brain to kind of go, actually, we don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to think that anymore. It's a natural chain reaction that goes on in the brain. And her beautiful testimonial was, I don't know what she did, but magically now I don't have the same problems that I had. And if you've had some good coaching, that's exactly how it should. And I know there's a few in here. So get some really, really, really true evidence. And I can tell you now, in my years of coaching, I can never find anyone who can find some evidence that their original belief is still true now. It's not, unless they're creating it for themselves. Like if I said, I'm really fat and lazy, well, I'm creating being fat because I'm eating, so I'm creating it. Whereas actually, if I was to stop that behaviour, it wouldn't be true. I'm just keeping that belief alive. And so the next question you want to ask yourself, I just want to leave you with how you can move yourself gently out of that process. So once you kind of investigated it all. Laura. Hi, Laura, fellow NP here. Previously, my self-talk even had the tone and pitch of the person who implanted it. God, yeah. Really, that is so true. Yeah, you can hear the voice of the person. You didn't notice until you paid attention. That was about 15 years ago, and it was stopping you. Yes, it was stopping you from moving forward. Yes, very common. Sometimes I hear my mother saying you need to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, no, I literally talk to it. No, Mum, I don't actually. Don't know where you got that belief from because you didn't bloody know about business. What makes you think that I'm going to listen to that belief anymore? No. So you want to have a think about what would you like to believe instead? Because we will only replace something in the brain with something better. So that's why sometimes when people give up dieting, they start drinking. And when they stop drinking, when they stop drinking, they'll start shopping. When they stop shopping, they'll start. It's like we have to replace it because that pattern of behaviour or stress management, self-sabotage that we call it, but it's stress management, it's a stress reaction. We need to put something positive in its place because otherwise there's a gap. So if you try and give something up or stop something and you don't replace it with anything, then it will still come back because there's a gap. So we want to make sure we fill that gap with some positive, more empowering beliefs, more empowering structures. I'm happy to help you with this. Just drop me a message if you want to do some work with me. I can do loads of programs. I do one-to-one. I do free stuff. I do all sorts of stuff. So if you want to do anything, then just drop me a line. But have a think about what you would like to believe instead. And actually, what is really true is even more powerful. So when I say about my lazy belief, what is really true is I can actually work an 18-hour day and still be as competent after hour 18 as I was at hour 1. So actually, that's not laziness. That's complete and utter dedication. Now I've found the right thing for myself. So actually, that's the truth. So this is the truth. And if you can replace a shitty old belief with the absolute truth now, you cannot believe that old belief. Father Christmas doesn't exist. Sorry to drop that if you didn't know. But you can't believe something that you then discover isn't true. So if you can disempower your beliefs yourself, you will no longer believe them. Therefore, you will no longer self-sabotage. So have a think about the things on your life list or your to-do list or whatever you call it, the things that you are sabotaging on a regular basis, and try and unpick why. And if you don't manage it yourself, come and get some professional support from somebody like me, and there are others, and you may even have some in your life, to help you through that. Because all that's happening is you're keeping self-sabotage when you don't need it. And you don't need to self-sabotage. There may have been a reason. I've identified in myself about three years ago that I was sabotaging a part of my business because I was scared of what people around me would think when I had 6 figures and beyond as a business, when I was really successful. I was scared that my friends would think that they didn't want to be friends with me. I was scared that I would have nothing in common with them because they were all moaning about having no money and not being successful and not being able to take holidays, and I was jetting off all over the world. I was scared to have a 6 holiday a year lifestyle in case my friends thought that I was above them. Has anybody got this? So I was keeping myself trapped. So I had to remove some of those beliefs. I had to remove some of that self-talk. I went and had a chat with my friends and realised that actually my friends were quite happy. Yeah, they might have been jealous, but they were quite happy for me and actually even proud. So I was holding on to some self-sabotage patterns and beliefs, self-talk, which creates behaviour and outcome for absolutely no reason. So if you've got any of that going on, and it'll show up in all sorts of ways. Have a think about actually then, just to kind of take it to the next level. I'm 25 minutes. Thanks, Karen. I want you to now imagine what your life would have been like without that belief. Like if you hadn't created that belief, whatever age you've identified it was. Mine was about 7 when my mum said that to me, 7 or 8. There's a whole load of story around it, which I won't bore you with. But actually, if I hadn't had a belief that I was lazy when I was 7, the difference it would have made to my life. It's a bit like sliding doors, if you've seen the film. Like if I hadn't had that happen, what would that alternative life look like? And I tell you, it would have looked really different. I wouldn't have been too scared to do games. I wouldn't have been too lazy. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have had asthma. I'm absolutely sure I created that subconsciously because it went with lazy. Like you can't breathe, you can't run, you're no good at this, you're no good at that. Had lots of self-talk around not being good about exercise, really bad at exercise, and still I struggle with it because I implanted it really strongly in my higher power authority, my mum, the highest power authority, and I didn't start stripping it away until really quite recently, about 5 or 6 years ago. So it's still work that's ongoing for me. I know Laura's probably going to go, I'll help you with that, which is nice. Feel free to come and help me, Laura. So yeah, need to strip that out. Otherwise I'm always going to think those things. So I call it dirty talk, catch your dirty talk, the shitty things you say to yourself, catch them, write them down and go, what the hell is that? Because if somebody else spoke to you the way that you speak to yourself, you would not have them in your life. I feel quite sure of that. Some of the things you say are so debilitating and so profoundly crap that actually they don't exist really. You're creating it. And it may be that you were bullied in life. Maybe you were bullied in life. I was bullied at school, which a lot of mine came from, and a lot of people were. Could be you were in an abusive relationship. I did that too. Could have been you were sexually abused. I did that too. So they all added up to a whole load of stuff. So it could be that you're just scared of not knowing what it feels like to not have self-sabotage. Therefore, you're potentially obsessed with being a bit stressed and a bit can't do it, shouldn't do it, which gives you that feeling, that kind of high breathing that you'll know because it will show up as illness in your body. It's dis-ease of the brain. So it will show up like that. So catch your dirty talk, catch the self-talk around it, analyse where it's come from, get really curious, write it down, draw it, I don't know, visualise it. Understand whether it was true then. Understand whether it's still true now. And once you've done that part, you can move into the solution, which is all about coaching, and work out what is true now, what is true for you now, what would you like to believe, and have a look at what your vista of your life would have been like without that shitty belief. And then the final part to this process is to now dream, just in your dream state. Do some meditation, or just sit with your eyes closed, or just sit and smile and think what your life is going to be like without that shitty belief, without that stress, without that self-sabotage. How amazing your life will feel. If it's around confidence, if it's around self-worth, it's around pride, around money, around love, around capability, around business, what it'll feel like with your new belief. And if you need any help with sorting it out, come and have a chat with me. I'm going to hang around in this group. Any questions you have, please put them in and I will answer them. I would love to. I'll drop a link for a free 7-day From Stress to Success video program, completely free. I won't be sending you millions of emails. There's no funnel attached to it and all that crap. It is just a free program. You put your email address in, and I may send you information around free networking and free group coaching that I do. So if you do want to come to that, you can. If not, you can just simply unsubscribe. So thank you for being here live with me. And for those that are watching in replay, please do add some comments. It's always nice to hear that you're understanding. I'm a trainer and I want to know that you understand what I'm saying and that it's being well received and that your brain gets it. You need to train your brain. Your brain is the thing that creates everything for you. You're very welcome, Danny. Thank you. Yes, you can listen to me talk all day. I'm happy to sit here and talk. I'm doing a group coaching at 12, but I'm happy to sit here. If anyone's got any questions, drop them in. Hi, some of you I don't know. Please connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. What else is there? I'm not on Snapchat, don't do that. And TikTok, not a freaking chance. No. Laura, mwah. And yeah, we can't go anywhere, Laura, can we? Because we've both got foot injuries to stop us moving forward. Interesting, we're both doing that. And then you did both yours. So I'm very cautious to keep my right foot very, very on the ground. Nice to see you all. And I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for the timekeeping, Karen. Very, very appreciated. And I will see you all soon. Mwah. Have an amazing rest of week.